We're back on the Lobo Basketball pregame show. Coming up for you in the pit, New Mexico and Boise State. First place, Boise State in University Arena. We have Lobo head coach Rich Pitino. Coach Pitino, let's start with this. Another terrific win for your squad. This one coming off the emotional victory at San Diego State. You worry, can the guys get back up? Is the energy level going to be there? And they were terrific. On point against San Jose State?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't worry about it until I talked to you, and then you brought it up. But no, I mean, honestly, the ebbs and flows of the season, you always worry about that when you have this emotional win, and then San Jose has not traditionally been good. We knew they were much improved. Our guys have been pretty mature all year about that. We've played 19 games. Do I feel like we won some? Maybe we shouldn't have, and I thought we could have gotten UNLV and Fresno. Yeah, I do, but we've played hard. We've competed. And I thought, and I said this before, I thought the all-access stuff kind of took away from the real story. And the real story was we led wire to wire, played terrifically versus a really good team.
No question about it. Controlled it from start to finish. And let's ask one last question about the all-access stuff, because you don't want to give away the farm, but you got to do your thing and coach the game the way you always do. Was it even in the back of your mind at all?
Before the game, it certainly was. I was concerned with it. Not that, I thought it would bring a lot of good exposure to our program. It certainly did that. And I think nationally they were talking positively about us. I didn't want to add any extra elements that would make the game more difficult. I probably overthink it as a coach, and I think most coaches do. These players just go out and play. But I didn't want them to feel any differently. Luckily, they're used to playing with cameras in front of them. And when the game started, I didn't change a thing. I didn't withhold play calls. I was myself. I know I jokingly said about swearing, but I really don't swear a lot. So for me, I was comfortable out there. Before the game, certainly it was a bit of a mental issue for me. But you know what? I mean, the feedback was positive, but a lot of that has to do with what we won as well.
I'll tell you what, I thought it was an amazing production. I watched it. Your friend Steve Shear does an incredible job for Fox, and the effects that we had on our radio broadcast for that game, best I can ever remember. Lobo head coach Rich Pitino is our guest. We're pregame New Mexico and Boise State coming up from the pit. So Coach Rice has just reloaded. No ACOT, no key jab, and they're right back at the top of the league after winning it last year.
Done an unbelievable job in that program of building it from the ground up. Talking to Leon, he has mentioned it before, just the buy-in from the administration to continue to get them better and help them improve over the last couple of years. Watching some stuff online, Leon seems to think that's really been the reason why they've been able to grow. He's built unbelievable stability. Everybody talks about San Diego State, as they should, because they've been really, really good in the last, 23 years of this conference. But he won the league last year. He won the conference tournament last year. They've got key guys, whether it's Max Rice, Shaver, Degenhart, who played on an NCAA tournament team, and it shows. I mean, they were able to add a really good piece in Chibuzo Agbo, who we recruited. So I'm not surprised that they're playing really, really well. They do a great job.
Yeah, 4 double-digit scores, and you talked about all of them. But tell us about Agbo, the new face.
Yeah, I mean, he was a guy we felt would complement maybe like a Javante Johnson, where you could play them both together. We certainly wanted to add perimeter size and versatility. So he can play the 3, he can play the 4. He's physical. He'll try to post up your guards. He can really shoot it. So he was a guy we were all in on, and Boise got us on that one. But he's a really good piece to the puzzle.
Texas Tech transfer Agbo. We have Lobo head coach Richard Pitino, pregame New Mexico and Boise State coming up. Early on in the year, they started one of their bigs, Milner, on the post. They realized their best lineup was with Degenhart at the 4 and Smith at the 5, and they've gone crazy since then.
Yeah, Smith's a unique player because he's not a true center. He could even be a 3, He's got a funky-looking shot, but it goes in, and that's been a good combination for them. And even Degenhart, who has always been kind of that pick-and-pop shooting 4-man, is now going down low a little bit more, being a little bit more physical. So they've got some good interchangeable parts, and they're terrific defensively. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. I think they're 10 on KenPom defensive efficiency rating. So we got our hands full there.
I know I mentioned to you the matchup of former high school teammates at Shadow Mountain in Phoenix at point guard. House for the Lobos, Shaver for Boise State. Certainly it's a story. The media are going to blow it up. You don't want House to be in his head about that, but it will be a fantastic matchup, won't it?
Yeah, again, I don't think it's a story, but if you and Jeff Grammer want to blow it up, you can. But for me, I don't think it. I think it's a story of two teams who are towards the top of the league. Shaver's great. House is great. So it's never about one player versus another. I think there's so many good storylines about this team and their team, and a lot of good players. Even Max Rice, like you could take Max Rice for granted. Max Rice scored 29 points last game. So it's never about one player. It's always going to be about both teams. Shaver's a terrific point guard. House is a terrific point guard.
Speaking of their last game, big win. They continue to roll in conference now. They've won 5 straight after dropping their opener in Reno against Nevada. They've already played the Wolfpack twice, a little quirk of the schedule. You guys are going to get the Wolfpack in the span of 2 weeks twice coming up here shortly. But they've been terrific over these last 5. Why?
They're defending very, very well. They're physical. They're tough. They're making shots. They're really shooting the ball well in conference. Max Rice is... you always talk about Shaver and Dagenhart. Well, Max Rice has been about as improved a player as I've seen. But the most part, what they're doing is they're guarding. I mean, they're holding guys to crazy numbers defensively. So it's going to be a physical war. We got to make sure we do our part. There's no difference in my mind between San Diego State's physicality and Boise State's physicality.
You look at how many different positions from which they can score and score capably, nearly 5 players in double figures scoring, and they're holding opponents to about 61 a game. That's pretty darn good. Yeah, I mean, they set the tone last year. I thought they were really, really physical. They didn't care to go beat San Diego State in the 50s, and they didn't mind slowing it down a little bit, slowing the tempo down, and playing with some older guys for sure, and they've got really good experience. They're not as experienced on the bench, but those first 5 are very, very experienced. Lobo coach Richard Pitino is alongside New Mexico and Boise State coming up from University Arena. So you've got the first place team in town. You want to protect home court, and this becomes the next big game, and obviously a massive game because of where Boise stands both in the KenPom and the net and at the top of the league. You don't want to put one game ahead of any other, and you've got a very difficult road trip coming up in Reno. But this one is crucial, isn't it?
They're all crucial this time of year, especially when you put yourself in the position that we put ourselves in. After 19 games, we're sitting at 17-2. We have done more things this year. We keep breaking streaks and doing things that hadn't been done here in a long time. So we want to continue to build off of that and continue to strengthen this program and continue to get quality wins. So you got a team that's a quad 1 win opportunity in your building. You got to go take advantage of it, and you got to, play the right way, certainly, but feed off the emotion of our amazing fans.
For sure. Do you mention the standings to your team? Is that something you guys look at or talk about?
We talk about it. I mean, I think it's important for them to know where everybody is. But at the end of the day, none of it really matters. This game is just as important as Southern Utah. That's the beauty of college basketball. You don't play that many games, so you can change a lot, good, or it can change the other way, bad, off of one game. So for us, we want to compete for a conference championship. Did I think I'd be talking about it in year 2? No, I did not. But after 6 games, we're 4-2, and we could sit there close to the top after this game if we win it. So it's not, we don't make it bigger than anything that it is. I mean, it's the next game in front of us, and we want to go take advantage of the opportunity.
Well, we all hope that this amazing ride continues. Only one start better than a potential 18-2 start if you get the win over Boise State. That was 19-1. Amazing to think in 119 years of Lobo basketball. Best of luck, Coach Pitino.
Thank you.
Lobo coach Richard Pitino, our guest. Pregame. We're back after this timeout. New Mexico and Boise State coming up on the UNM Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back in this pit. An unbelievable night of basketball in Albuquerque. Overtime, final score, 81-79. Lobos beat first place Boise State. Postgame show brought to you by the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino winning entertainment includes simulcast racing, live music, dining, the best games, and more. The Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. 81-79, the Lobos beat Boise State in OT. Lobo head coach Richard Pitino courtside with us, and share for the fans what you just shared with us before we came out of that break.
It was the loudest building I've ever been in, and I'm truly not saying it. That was unbelievable. We couldn't hear ourselves talk. I'm so happy for our fans because UNLV game, they showed out, and we let them down. And for them to come and create this environment, the students were amazing. God, I mean, that is, you could do some special things. I know Hunter and former players talk about it. It's such a fun thing to be a part of. Our guys did an unbelievable job of executing that last play. Donovan made a great pass. Mo finished it. It was a great basketball game. Boise State was terrific as well.
Yeah, and Coach, congratulations. You called it. You said it was this Boise State team can guard and they can rebound and man, I mean, they brought it and it was a grind. I thought it was more of a grind type of game. Walk us through the last, before you got into overtime.
I wanted a foul, and House talked me out of it, and then he screwed up the switch.
Okay.
So dumb of me to listen to House. We were going to foul.
Yes.
And he goes, Coach, let's don't foul. And then him and Josiah got screwed up on a switch. And I'm like, that's why I get paid.
That's
and
right.
He does it. But you know what? They made a great play, and he made a great shot.
They did.
Oh, that's so ironic, too, because when Smith catches it, he's the perfect guy to foul.
I know.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so now take us through. You're drawing up the most important play of your 2-year Lobo career tied at the end of overtime.
We thought they would commit guys to MASH. And so we wanted to use MASH as a decoy, and we wanted to slip Morris to the basket. And we cleared Josiah out to the other side, and Donovan made a terrific pass. And they showed great poise, because everybody thought MASH was getting the ball. And we told Morris, hey, if they screw up, slip right to the basket. And Donovan made a great play.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, a couple of moments stand out for me, Coach. House has to sit. Donnie comes in and runs the point, and he gave you defense off the bench that just injected life into your team. He was amazing.
He was terrific, and he was blocking shots. He's going to be a great player. I've said it from day one. I think he's the best freshman in the Mountain West. He helped us. We started building some momentum. He got to the basket, made some great plays, and then obviously made a great pass. So it's. I'm excited about the young guys. Obviously, the old guys were terrific as well. I mean, Josiah Alec had 18 rebounds.
Yes.
All heart.
All heart.
All heart.
Yes. Coach, talk about the adjustment and what you did differently for Rice. I mean, Rice came out on fire in the first half. He was just aggressive offensively, and then in the second half, I think you guys took away a lot. He only had 2 points.
Well, I don't know if he's like a pool player with the English or a ping pong player, but unbelievable some of the stuff he was throwing up. So I don't want to ever say that a guy is lucky because he's a really good player, but he was making some tough shots.
Yeah.
We wanted to put Javante a little more size on him, and it was much better in the second half.
It was, yeah.
Man, and then, Mo has some difficulties with foul trouble. Josiah, you look at the box score from the last 2 games, and you might, if you didn't see the games, wonder what Josiah's contributions were. We know exactly what they were. A couple of games ago, he got assigned the best player on San Diego State and guarded Bradley like he owned him for a while. And then tonight comes up with a rebounding performance for the ages. I'm speechless when
ultimate role guy. Made those big free throws.
Yes.
Just plays with a ridiculous motor. He as we talk about MASH, we talk about House, and we talk about Morris, and rightfully so, they're really good players. But Josiah Alec, the little things that he does are just phenomenal. Never gets tired. He's an absolute warrior.
How about a 50-50 ball out kind of three-quarter court? He dives out, saves it, and it results in a Mo dunk on the other end. I mean, and it just the crowd went crazy.
But the beautiful thing about this team, and this is year 11 for me, rare. I never have to tell them to play hard. Yeah. They compete their butts off. And it allows me to be able to scheme a little bit more, which is nice because you don't always have that. But those older guys, whether it's House, Mash, Josiah, Morris, they set the tone. And if you don't play hard, you're going to look bad. So those guys battle their butts off.
And Josiah gave you 2 free possessions off of missed free throws, too. Last question, Mashburn Jr., they guarded him tough in the first half early. He just stayed the course. Here he is, 25 points, and he was a monster like always.
He always does it. He stays the course. He believes in himself. He works his butt off, and that's why he's a really good player. made some big plays in the second half. I'm really happy for our guys. I'm so happy for our community. That was awesome to be a part of.
Coach, it was beautiful. I just want to talk about one ugly, and that's the free throws. Does that concern you?
Well, if I look at it, hold on one second.
9 of 14, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, Morris was really the culprit. Everybody else was pretty good, so we'll get him right. I mean, I don't know if he's in his head a little bit, but he'll snap out of it and be fine.
He's the guy who made 13 in a row in a game earlier this year.
He did do it.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Enjoy this one, Coach.
Perfect.
All right, Coach. Congratulations.
Lobo head coach Richard Pitino. Wow. Just an amazing OT win. Lobos hadn't played an OT game this year. They did it, and they got it done. And you know what? It's wonderful. It's wonderful when you think about this, Hunter, that you can have that situation happen at the end of regulation where you give up a three that ties the game that you didn't even want to let them shoot.
Right.
And you can learn from that in a win.
Yes.
It would have been so painful.
Oh, it would have been. Yeah. I mean, you would be second-guessing yourself,
Yeah.
But
till the end.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we pause. 81-79, Lobos win an OT. Back with Josiah Alec next. Lobo basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network. 81-79, Lobos win an OT in the pit. We're post-game courtside. Post-game brought to you by Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. Winning entertainment includes simulcast racing, live music, dining, the best games, and more. That's the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. Our guest post-game, the Beast. You definitely earned that nickname after the nice performance. Josiah Alec is with us, a career-high 18 rebounds. And, man, if I could buy you that bucket to get you that double-double tonight, I would do it. You're still waiting for your first as a Lobo, but unbelievable work tonight. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Man, I was, I'm not one to stat chase, but I was hoping one way or another, maybe like a lucky tip-in. Maybe they just accidentally give me one in the box score or something, but hey, no, that's the way it goes. We got the job done.
You knocked down those 2 critical free throws, bro.
Oh, man, yeah. I'm trying to get Coach to trust me again in crunch time. I had 2 other ones. I don't know. It was like 4 games ago. But, I've been focusing on my free throw. Like, I changed it up a little bit. I try to, like, shoot a little bit faster because one thing I noticed, I'm like, I'm thinking a little bit too much out there. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of big plays down the stretch. And, I mean, as much good as I did, I also was responsible for the overtime. It was – terrible switch. I think House didn't hear me, and I, fumbled that up, and then one, and like 5 seconds left. I mean, oh God! But hey, we got it done.
Got it done, man.
Hey,
got it done.
Congratulations, Josiah. One of the things you gave us everything on the rebounds, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't give you credit for this, but you guard, and you do, and you put your heart into it. Talk about the defense and who you were guarding tonight, and what those matchup meant to you.
Well, shoot, I may get my title revoked after tonight. I mean, Degenhart was giving me the business on a couple of them plays, but, I did try to cause a little bit of havoc out there whenever I was guarding him or their other big guy, and, obviously just trying to give him a physical body. But, he's a talented player. I mean, he's got a bright future, obviously, but, it was really a team effort. Everybody was doing a great job, like rebounding, trying to help each other out. Obviously, we had some slip-ups, and that's why it went to overtime, and we didn't beat them by 15. But, I'm gonna bring my energy every time.
Yeah.
Obviously tonight, a little bit of a whiff on the execution side, at least in terms of applying that consistent presence on Degenhart. But Sebastian came in, gave us some really good minutes. Obviously, Mo got in foul trouble, and he did a great job stepping up after not really playing a whole lot these past couple games. So just like a quick shout out to him. But
no, I mean you're the disruptor down low, for sure. The last couple of games you really didn't put a lot of points up.
No,
but you defended, you guarded, and I thought tonight you can look at Degenhart and say, yeah, he had 28, but that wasn't on you solely. You were disrupting down low, clogging the middle. I mean it and then of course in the second half you were jumping out on the switches against Rice. He only had 2 points.
Really? Oh, in the second half?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's also a big props to our guards because, we knew that he's been on a hot streak these last I think like 5 or 6 conference games. He's just been killing it, and obviously we got to see that in this first half. I mean, he was like, you were just like, is that a horse shot? Like, what are we doing here? But I mean, he was making them, and then obviously, they came in the second half, and they kind of realized it's like, okay, this isn't just like him going on a fluke. Like, he can play, and they locked in, and then they took care of him. And so I mean, it was just all around. I mean, it was a great team win. Everyone had their moments. Obviously, House, Mash, huge shots down the stretch.
How about that dunk? Dude, you brought the house down.
Man, I have never fumbled a highlight so fast in my life.
Well, you couldn't make it back down the court.
That's what
Oh, my God.
You were flying high.
That was terrible. I saw the lane open up. Oh, my goodness. I saw the lane open up like the Red Sea. Oh, my goodness. I punched it home, beat the footer to the rim. Turned around, flexing as hard as I can, trip on myself, stumble, land on my back. I was flopping around out there. It's terrible. They're gonna have to cut that clip a little early on Twitter.
You don't have any idea how much the Lobo fans love you because of exactly that, Josiah. You absolutely are so transparent with everything, and they just in the text. I'm just scrolling through. I haven't even looked at them yet, but one of my buddies. Alec is a monster. It's another one. Alec played his bleep off. I mean, like the tone setting thing. Like it's cliche, but it's you. Where does this motor come from, bro?
I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean, at the end of the day, like it's almost it's a little bit hard to explain, just because for me, it's just like second nature. It's like if let's say there's a task to be done and everybody doesn't want to do it. Like that, even if I didn't want to do it in the first place, like the fact that everybody else didn't want to, like that, like jumps out at me. I'm like, okay, bet. Like now I'm gonna show everybody, I'm gonna do this thing that nobody else feels like they want to or can do, and that's kind of how I approach the game. Like nobody wants to play that physical, no one wants to play that hard all the time, and so like I'm gonna abuse that. Like a lot of guys just like it to be like nice and clean, and I put a body on him, so he's gonna stop. Like it's like no, like I'm gonna continue to go until someone has that ball in their hands, and even then I might try to knock it out. But
I tell my kids that do the job nobody else wants to do.
Hey,
dude, that's awesome.
Because I mean, when you look at it, like if I'm just trying to play the same way everybody else is, it's like. That's a very easy player to stop, because everyone's already used to that. And so it's like you have to find what are people not doing, and then you just got to become the best at that. Yeah.
They want us to let you get upstairs, partner. You are unbelievable. Congratulations
Thank you.
again.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Josiah.
Awesome work.
Appreciate
Josiah Alec, career best, 18 rebounds. Truly a force tonight. A fan just said, only 18? Come on. You know what? That's finding your motivation internally, Hunter. Like now you've got your answer. Now you know why he's willing to do all the things on the court that most everybody else isn't paying any attention to because they just want to create the highlight. Like he's going to go do the stuff that makes you invaluable to your team.
It's interesting. You're sitting here talking to him, and you can see his wheels spinning. Like you ask him a question, and
he really thinks about it.
He's thinking through that question. Very thoughtful, very just love his energy, intelligent. Yeah, I mean, he's just, you love it. You're happy for the young man.
Okay, today's defensive play of the game. It's brought to you by Theta Point. Make cybersecurity a team sport. Add Theta Point to your team to increase your defensive posture. Waits for White, and he catches the handoff. Now to Milner on the right wing. He'll give it up. Here's a lane line drive. Rejection by Forsling as he sends it away. How about that? Sebastian Forsling with the block. Your Theta Point defensive play of the game. Brought to you by Theta Point. Make cybersecurity a team sport. Add Theta Point to your team to increase your defensive posture. There's no doubt tonight, Hunter, what the adjustment of the game was. It's brought to you by The Joint, the official chiropractor of UNM Athletics. It's how the Lobos guarded Max Rice.
That's right. Yeah, in the second half, held him to 2 points. He had 15 in the first half. Of course, a lot of those shots were circus-type shots, but, man, they were going in. So the Lobos adjusted. They put Javonte Johnson, a taller defender, on him, and I thought that was key in the second half.
Absolutely. The adjustment of the game brought to you by The Joint, the official chiropractor of UNM Athletics. My on-site engineer, Michael Carlisle, Bob Walpole, producer and engineer, my broadcast partner, Lobo all-timer, Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. Oh, my goodness, Hunter. So now the jumble at the top of this magnificent Mountain West tightens even further. So the league leader is now San Diego State at 5-1. Boise State, Nevada, and New Mexico all at 5-2. And Utah State right on their heels at 4-2. Any one of those teams at this point is worthy of a potential NCAA bid. And we haven't yet hit the midpoint of the conference schedule. This is going to be an amazing ride till March.
How fun is this, man? This is the most fun I've had doing this job. I'm telling you right now.
It's back, baby. The pit is back. The Lobo fans are back. This community is energized. This place was lit tonight. It was not even 48 hours ago that this was right around 12,000 tickets sold. We get to 14,566 tonight, and the place completely erupted.
Yeah, and that was a lot because of Josiah and the way he played. I mean, you can almost look to almost every Lobo that played, that brought something to the game. Jenkins, how quiet. He comes off the bench, gives us points, defensive stops. He's battling a 7-footer, right? He did a little bit of everything. So, Forsling,
amazing.
Didn't put points on the board, but man, defensively had 3 rebounds, but in a key block. It just, contribution from all.
No doubt. Lobos with the win, improved to 18-2, second best through 20 games in the 119 year history of Lobo basketball. UNM is now 5-2 in league. Boise State dips to 5-2 in conference and 15-5 overall. Okay, New Mexico travels Sunday. They will play Monday night in Reno. The Nevada Wolfpack on the road. 6:30 airtime pregame show. 7 o'clock tip. The Lobos look to beat former head coaches Steve Alford and Craig Neal for the first time since they arrived in Reno. That'll do it for us for tonight. New Mexico in overtime takes down first place Boise State. Final score for the final time: Lobos 81, Boise State 79. Till Monday night. So long, everybody, and go Lobos.